receiver on the other side. So the data on the transmitter side, so it will travel from the application layer to the physical layer. Okay, through all these layers, the data will get traveled from application to physical layer. Then the data will be transmitted from transmitter to receiver in the physical layer, and at the receiver end data will be received in the physical layer, and it will go top from physical layer to application layer. Okay, so if we consider here an example of WhatsApp, just an example of WhatsApp, just to explain you how this OSI model actually works. So if we take an example of WhatsApp, at the transmitter, we have an application layer. Okay, application layer actually is a user interface where we actually interface with an application. So that application layer is actually taking care of the user interface. So there is a user interface which is available in the WhatsApp application as well, right? And coming to the presentation layer, in the presentation layer, encryption and decryption of data is being done. Okay, encryption and decryption of uh, data is being carried out by the presentation layer. So if you can look into WhatsApp, you have encryption and decryption uh, applications, or encryption and decryption which is already being done by WhatsApp application, right? So this encryption and decryption which is done in the background is actually belonging to the presentation layer. So I'm not telling that WhatsApp is using OSI model, but WhatsApp is using a different network. But the design, what they are using, is based on OSI model. Any company, when they design their own application or when they design their own network, their uh, their network may be different or their design may be different, but they would have included all these features, all these layers, so that all these will be satisfied. So all these layers has to be satisfied uh, before developing their own networking application or anything it may be in IoT based applications. Okay. So coming to the session layer, in session layer, it is that connection will be made from one device to another. Okay, session layer takes care of that uh, connection. So that complete chat. So for example, if you text hi in for your friend, in you have a separate chat page for that particular person, right? So if you text hi for one person, it will not go for another person on the chat. No, when you are in that chat, that whatever message you put on that chat part, so it goes to that respective person itself. So that connection of one device to another, or one uh, connection to another, is being done by the session layer. Okay, and the transport layer, so the transport layer is actually uh, telling from which process to which process, like is the data going from WhatsApp to WhatsApp, or is the data going from Facebook Messenger to Facebook? All these are done in the background and all these are satisfied. So if these things are not satisfied, and those application would have not been there. So the transport layer is actually uh, looking into the process to process communication. Okay, then coming into the network layer, so network layer, it is like source to destination, from which source to what is the destination, that is taken care by the network layer. And in the data link layer, it will show from data has to how the data has to travel from one device to another, like from which nodes, there are certain things in the middle. So which is the nearest way to reach the destination is being mentioned by the data link layer. And then coming to the physical layer, so in the physical layer, the data gets transmitted or it will be received by the receiver. So in the physical layer, it will be told that the medium of data transfer, if the medium of data transfer is uh, wireless or wired, so that is being told in the physical layer. So these are the different layers in the OSI model. So all these layers has to be satisfied whenever there is a new network or new networking protocol which is being developed, all these layers has to be satisfied. So these are few different applications, or these are few different things which are uh, actually being utilized in different layers of the OSI model. So you can see in the physical layer, we have coaxial cable, fiber cable, it may be wireless connections, or it may be hubs or repeaters. All these things are used in the physical layer. In the data link layer, it is Ethernet, switches, bridges. Network layer, it is IP, IPv4, IPv6. Those things are part of the network layer. In the transport layer, it is TCP, UDP, end-to-end connections is responsible by the transport layer. In the session layer, it is APIs, sockets. These are actually part of the session layer. Then we have the presentation layer, uh, where, as I told you, it is basically used for encryption, decryption, data compression, data expansion. All these things are being done in the presentation layer. And application layer is where your user interface. You have the HTTP web page and other things which are actually part of the application layer. These are few things which are part of different layers of the OSI model. So here we have packet encapsulation. So how the data is getting sent from application layer into the physical layer, and how the headers are being added for each and every layer. So maybe we can continue from packet encapsulation in the next session. So there are few more slides, what is IP and all those. We'll have to understand those things, and then it'll be just 15 to 20 minutes of theory in the next session, and then we shall be looking into the practical part of the programming. So we can take a small break of 15 minutes, maybe, and if any doubts or any clarifications, you can ask me on the chat. So we'll just take a 15 minutes break, and we'll continue by 12.
Hello, sir. Bharat, sir. Okay, there is a break of 15 minutes. We start the second session exactly at 12.